essentially constituted by matter, the vital essence, the soul. These offerings are the best elements, body, mind, and spirit, of each human being, the offering of their complete self to God. The two candle represents yin and yang. In the universe, there are two principles, yin and yang, that form the original of all creation. Yin, the passive female principle of the universe. Yang, the active male principle of the universe. Two candles are lit at the beginning of each ceremony. The yang side must be lit first. The 5 incense sticks represents 5 primary elements of the earth, metal, water, wood, fire, earth. The 5 incense sticks also represents the 5 different levels of spiritual development: purification, meditation, wisdom, superior universal knowledge, and karmic liberation. At the very back of the 8 trigrams palace, on the ground, there is a trapdoor that leads down under the altar. This is the catacombs of the precious religious objects. In here, reliquaries of the ashes of the great dignitaries, cardinals, and their equivalents and above. At the present time, in 8 trigrams catacombs, there are 6 reliquaries of the ashes of His Holiness Cao Wen-Gu, leader of religious affairs. His Greatness Lê Văn Trung, acting Pope. His Greatness Ca Minh Chương, religious conservator. His Eminence Cardinal Lâm Hương Thanh. His Eminence Cardinal Thái Thơ Thanh. His Eminence Cardinal Ngọc Trang Thanh.
Now I would like you to continue your tour outside the area of the Great Divine Temple. There are 2 doors on either side of the towers, directly under the bell tower and drum tower. Believers enter these 2 doors for attending ceremonies.
On the side verandas, at the apex of each arch, there are decorations with the picture of a pair of cranes flying in the sunlight, representing freedom from secular obligations and sufferings.
Cranes are seen as divine birds, connecting earth and the heavens. Cranes feature significantly in many tales of Chinese folklore representing the connection of the earthly and spiritual realms. These apexes are also decorated with vines and grapes. These represent the 3 divisions of life. The vines and the grape represent the matter of life: our body, vitality, the root of essence and life. The grape juice represents the essence of life: mind, life force, the gateway of life and death. The distilling of grape juice produces wine, which represents the soul or spirit. When all these treasures of our nature are unified, the adept can then break through the cycles of karma and reincarnation and be united with the divine. Throughout the Caudaist texts and architecture, the grape is a constant reminder of these 3 main elements of religious life and of the need to constantly work to bring them into harmony.
There are 23 windows around the building looking out upon the veranda. At the center is the divine eye, surrounded by a triangle that represents the three main arms of the faith: Taoism, Confucianism, and Buddhism. It is also representative of the Dharma of Cao Dai religion. There are 16 rays that emanate from this triangle. The 9 upper rays represent the 9 heavens to which the adept must look for guidance. The 7 rays underneath the triangle and radiating downward stand for the 7 passions, which adept must learn to control. Lotus flowers symbolize purity. In addition to these designs, the arrangement of the lotus flowers, buds, and roots also symbolize the formation and development of the cosmos with reference to the numerical system of the I Change, which is Book of Changes. There are 2 doors under the Tower of the Saints and the steps on either side of the 8 trigrams palace. One might notice that each door is guarded by their own pair of Kim Mao Hao, or yellow lion-like figures. After performing sanctification, a secret commissioning ceremony in front of these lion-like figures, the Ho Fap replied, "These yellow lion-like figures are creatures of abundant health and strength. They represent and inspire the will needed by the adept in his or her battle to continually cultivate the way."
The tower that rises from the midpoint of the nave is the Towers of the Saints. It consists of 3 levels. The first level is a square base rising out of the roof. Upon this base rests a round tower topped with an Islamic-shaped dome, painted with the map of the earth, symbolizing our planet. The apex of this dome is surmounted by a figure that has the body of a horse and the head of a dragon. This dragon horse carried on its back a primordial 8 trigrams. It is organized based on opposing forces. It represents innate energies and the interactions of polar forces. This innate energy is the life energy you were born with. The pre-heaven 8 trigrams is still used today, primarily for selecting grave sites, but also as protections against harmful energies. This representation also includes a spirit sword, a symbol of karmic liberation. The dragon horse is depicted running to the west while its head turns back, looking back towards the east. This is symbolic of the way that originated in the east and is spreading to the west. The tower at the end of the Great Divine Temple is the 8 trigram tower. The roof is yellow, representing Buddhism. On the top of this tower is a carving of a lotus flower, and standing on the flower are statues of 3 of the most well-known Hindu gods. The 3 supreme gods Hindu triads are considered as 3 Buddhas, or Brahmanist trinity in Cao Dai religion. These Brahmanist trinities are Brahma riding on a divine swan who faces west. Brahma commands the first cycle of Manvantara, is the cycle of creation, that is the cycle of innocence. Shiva, riding on a cobra with 7 heads who faces north. Shiva commands the second cycle, that is cycle of progress, or cycle of struggle and the destruction. Krishna, riding on a water dragon who faces south. Krishna commands the third and last cycle. That is the cycle of conservation, or the cycle of reproduction or renovation. Each of these Buddha was commissioned by the Supreme Being to watch over the particular realms. Additional, the three Buddhas has received God's order to direct the three cycles: cycle of creation, cycle of struggle and the destruction, the cycle of renovation. That is the order and circulation of the universe.
Behind the great divine temple is the tomb of His Greatness, Lei Wangzhong. He was the first acting pope and is much celebrated. The tomb of His Greatness, Lei Wangzhong, is also an octagonal tower. On the top of the tower is the swastika, a symbol of Buddhism. Next and behind the tomb of His Holiness, Lei Wangzhong, is the row of offices in a U shape. The row of offices on the male side is called the Oriental Building. This building is the offices of the administrative dignitaries of the College of Men. The row of offices on the female side is called the Occidental Building. This building is the offices of the dignitaries of the College of Women. On the side of the Oriental outbuilding are the tombs of the three male cardinals. On the side of the Occidental outbuilding are the tombs of the four female cardinals.
We would like you to continue your tour to the Holy Mother Temple. The Great Divine Temple is dedicated to the worship of God, the Father, and divine beings. The Holy Mother Temple is dedicated to the worship of Buddha Mother, or Venerable Mother Goddess. We looked at the Supreme Being as having the force of enlightenment and civilization, but the mechanisms of the creation of the universe, such as the progress of the creation of human on the world, comes from the union of yin and yang. Therefore, human beings call both the Supreme Being and the Holy Mother as Great Merciful Father and Great Merciful Mother. From the Great Divine Temple towards the Mother Temple, there are some dignitaries, offices in both sides on the Pham Ho Phap Boulevard. Female Cardinal's Office, Pope's Office, Office of the Heavenly Union Palace, Ho Phap's Office, Male Cardinal's Office. Next to the office of His Holiness Ho Phap is the Temple of Gratitude. At the front of the temple is a significant banner pole. Around the temple itself, there are 91 bas-relief scenes describing such human attributes as faithfulness, compassion, righteousness, and the story of many of the divine beings. These illustrations bring alive the spiritual dimensions of the building.
When we enter from the front of the temple, we come to a vestibule area terminated by a wall. The wall is decorated by a 5-star lantern. Each side of the lantern are 2 columns of Chinese characters, which translates as follows. The 8 souls created the universe and transformed all beings. All these visible things follow the way. There is only one invisible spirit that is master of the heart-mind, who, utilizing the law of love, has arranged all beings into their various levels. The nave of the temple is divided in its interior into 8 sections or bays. These sections are marked off by columns and arches in the roof. The 8 sections of the temple represent the palace of 8 sites of the Holy Mother in the heavenly realm. On each side of the columns of the main worshipping area, there are yellow boards with Chinese characters reading, "The Palace of 8 Sites." The first section is where the choir stands to chant prayers. There is also usually a low table here for musicians. The 6th section, each side has the holder of 8 staffs, flanked by 2 ceremonial parasols. In front of the yellow curtain is a carved canopy. At the very top is a carving of a female phoenix, which is the special vehicle of the Holy Mother. Also sounding the scene are carvings of the emblems of the 9 female Buddhas, as we noted above in our description of the altar. The main image at the back wall of this space is a colorful depiction of the Holy Mother, accompanied by 9 female Buddhas and 4 celestial attendants. They all ride on the back of a blue phoenix with its wings outstretched, ready to land. Riding on the back of the blue phoenix, we have the Holy Mother modeled in the center. At the very back of this group are 4 celestial attendants. On her left and right are the 9 female Buddhas. Their hands are holding treasures of the Dharma. The first female Buddha is wearing a robe of blue. In her hand she holds a lute. The second female Buddha, also wearing a blue robe, is holding an incense burner. The third female Buddha, again wearing a blue robe, her hands are holding a dragon whisker fan. The fourth female Buddha, dressed in red, is holding a golden name board. The fifth female Buddha, also wearing red, grasps a wand of contentment. The sixth female Buddha, robed in red, carries the banner of wandering freedom. The seventh female Buddha, wearing a robe of yellow, bears a lotus flower. The eighth female Buddha is dressed in yellow and holds a symbolic basket of flowers. Finally, the ninth female Buddha is dressed in blue and holding a flute. Underneath this tableau of statues is the altar dedicated to the Holy Mother and those spirits who accompany her. This is dominated by the name plaque to the Holy Mother using the following Chinese characters from top to bottom.
On the altar, the layout of various objects consists of offering flowers, fruits, wine, tea, candles, incense, in a similar way to the altar in the Great Divine Temple. Looking at the Holy Mother, to your right and underneath her, there is a statue of the immortal Dong Phương Sóc. Standing straight, he is holding his 2 open hands to his forehead, waiting to receive the peaches of immortality, which were given by the Holy Mother to the Emperor Wu. In the courtyard of this pagoda is a statue of His Holiness Thượng Phẩm, who is holding the fan of exteriorization. He is kneeling with his face uplifted, paying respect to the Holy Mother.